right, welcome everyone to another episode of Elvis Type Podcast. It's your host Travis here, and I got a special episode for you today. It's first of all, it is 9:13 at night on Sunday, Father's Day. I would have recorded this episode earlier, but unfortunately, my day was absolutely crazy, and so I am doing this now after my kids had finally gone to sleep, and I have a little bit of time to myself. So, what I want to talk about today is I did my first jiu-jitsu competition yesterday, and it was an experience, let me tell you. So, give a little backstory. I was actually supposed to compete last weekend. Many of you guys might know this if you're in our Facebook group, El Bros Facebook group, El Bros community page over on Facebook. If you guys haven't joined yet, make sure you go join. But so I've been talking about it a little bit that I've been wanting to compete, and not necessarily because I wanted to test my jiu-jitsu or have a competitive feeling. I wanted to compete or anything like that. I wanted to compete just for the experience and to kind of be able to speak on it, I guess you know what I'm saying, and just talk about it. And so I was supposed to compete last weekend at Grappling Industries in Everett, Washington, and it was my wife's birthday, so I decided that probably wasn't the best idea. And not only that, there was only one other guy in the bracket. And I was like, look, if I want to go roll with this person and test myself, I'm not going to do it for $80 and a 2.5 hour drive. So I ended up backing out of that one. And then I signed up for Revolution here in Western Washington, which is our biggest one. They go by the IBJJF rules and everything like that. And it was a super fun time. So much fun. I had a blast. And I kind of want to talk about what it was like leading up to it and everything like that. And what my experience was like before stepping on the mat and everything like that. And kind of go over what I learned and the pros and cons I saw of competing. So, first things first.
What's up, guys? Are you tired of grappling body hair on and off the mats? Well, have no fear, because we have a solution that will keep you rolling smoothly and in style, thanks to Manscaped. Picture this, you're about to step onto the jiu-jitsu mats, ready to dominate and submit all your opponents. But wait, what's that? Your unruly body hair. That's why you need Manscaped, the global leader in men's grooming. With their precision engineering tools, you could tame the hairiest situations and grapple yourself to victory. Imagine executing the perfect armbar, all while knowing your bald hair is trying to sneak in a sneaky triangle choke. Thanks to the Lawnmower 4.0, you can easily eliminate that unwanted hair with this cutting-edge technology. It's like a black belt for body hair. So to my fellow BJJ practitioners, whether you're a white belt or a black belt, let Manscaped be your secret weapon on and off the mats. Go to manscaped.com and use code ETP20 for 20% off and free shipping. That's ETP20 at manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping. And with Manscaped, you'll be a force to reckon with on the mats and in the mirror.
So what was it like leading up to the competition? So I walk around 208 pounds, and for the Grappling Industries, it was a weight class of 215. And so I was like, cool. You don't have to weigh in your gis there. The rule set is much more lenient. They allow pretty much all leg locks besides heel hooks in gi. Especially at blue belt, you're allowed a knee bar, toe hold, all that stuff at blue belt. So I thought that was kind of cool, and I really wanted to do that. But like I said, I didn't I didn't want to travel all that time on my wife's birthday and not get a full experience. So for Revolution, it was a weight class that I signed up for, was up to 208. And like I said, I walk around about 208, 210 some days, 206 others, right? So I was like, well, cool. I can go ahead, sign up for the 208 Division Masters 1 and 2 because they combine that group together. And if I need to, I'll do a little bit of a weight cut and then get back or get down below the weight. So I started eating about 2 weeks out. I started eating, counting my macros. Ben Jitsu, if you guys know who he is, he's one of our previous guests. He helped me out quite a bit in counting or making sure that I was like in line to make weight and everything like that. And so counting all my calories, trying to eat clean, limit limit my carbohydrate intake so I didn't bloat and stuff like that. Um, and so I did that for probably about 2 weeks. Got really serious about it this last week because I was still walking around 208, just shy of 208 with no gi, and then it was about 210 in gi. So for training, I would just go to class. I went to class. I still continue to go to class, and this is probably one of the reasons why I'll talk about one of my cons or my biggest lessons learned is I didn't increase my training really at all, and I kind of just kept doing the twice a week. And I tried to roll a little bit more after class and work on positions that I didn't feel I was good at, just kind of like hone my game. And so I didn't really change anything for my training. Sorry, my throat is a little raspy. I've been like yelling at my kids all day. No. But so I didn't really change anything when it comes to my training schedule or anything like that. I would just work on things in class, work on positions in class, try to work on things that I don't normally do just to see if I could, I guess you could say. I worked a lot of escapes the last couple weeks, letting like my buddy Jack, who trains with us, he's a blue belt also, let him like take my back and try to escape back, let people get in mount, try to escape mount. And then worked on guard retention with people and stuff like that. Sometimes I didn't tell them if I was working on something and I just did it. That way I could get like an honest reaction and see if they didn't know it was coming, what would happen. So if like I would let people kind of pass my guard and then try to wrestle up or work on my guard retention with uh, switching my hips, getting the feet on the hips and stuff like that. I've been doing Jordan Pressinger's Jordan or jiu-jitsu theory course, and that helped out quite a bit. There's a lot of things in there that I learned when it comes to guard retention, passing the guard, that worked out great for me this weekend. A lot of the stuff that I learned in there about head control, about frames, about your frames, their frames, I implemented in this competition. And as I'm recording this, I'm kind of deciding if, while I'm editing this afterwards, like I said, it's 9 o'clock at night, so I might just release it to you guys without any of the B-roll of me rolling. But I will release the unedited rolling footage of my 3 matches on my YouTube page in like maybe an unlisted, and then just send the link out to the Facebook group. If you guys are in the Facebook group, then you'll get them. I might do something like that. I might also do a commentary on what was happening in the rolls and see how that goes, and if that's something you guys want. But so nothing really changed for training, and I think that was kind of a detriment to my success in the competition. And then so Thursday night rolls around, and I go to class, and I was still a little heavy. I was still walking around 208 without my gi. 207. I was like 207 in the morning. Let me say that. And so I'm like thinking to myself, man, how am I going to cut this last couple pounds? I want to be around 205 in a no gi. That way I know for sure I'll be the 208. I was using the Hyperfly Starlight, which is a phenomenal gi. Thank you, Hyperfly, for that gi. They didn't give it to me. I bought it. I don't know why I'm thanking them for it. Anyways, so I trained it. But it's a super light gi, so I knew I didn't have to lose too many pounds in order to make weight. And so when I go to class, I buy myself, or on my way there, I buy myself a gallon of distilled water to try to see if I could flush my system. And as I'm rolling and stuff like that, trying to not trying to break a sweat when I'm doing technique, I'm just kind of like, Tuesday was the last day that I did sparring. Wednesday, I kind of started thinking about what I was going to do for the competition, trying to develop a game plan. Thursday, I went into class, kind of just wanting to move, hone some things, develop my game plan more, talk to my professor Sean about what was on my mind. He was like, what's your takedown? What are you going to do when you get to the ground? What's your guard pass that you're going to go for? This and that. And I thought I had an answer. I'll tell you the truth. I thought I had an answer, and I kind of just went to my A game. I told him, I wanted to do this arm drag that he showed us, and he was like, yeah, that's not really going to work in gi. That's more of a no-gi grip. So you should probably just do an arm drag to back take or arm drag to single leg or something like that. So I was like, oh, that's a good point. I'll just work on that for right now for the open mat time and just kind of see where that goes. So my buddy Will helped me out, and I was working. Everyone sees in competition what happens. People grab lapels, they grab sleeves, and they hold on for dear life. So in my mind, I was thinking, okay, I know this guy's going to go to grab my collar or grab my lapel or whatever. What I want to do is I want to break the grip and I want to feed it to an arm drag and go for, a single leg or back take or anything like that, but off the arm drag because it's, high success and it's a relatively safe move if it doesn't work. And so come to find out, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But so that's what I worked on Thursday night. Friday night, I decided to cut weight after work. So woke up Friday morning, still was around 2:07 in the morning. Got off work and I came home and I was like, okay, so I've limited my calories today. I've limited my carbohydrates today. I limited my water intake for the day. So now I just need to cut a little bit of weight. And so I got home, jumped on my treadmill, put it at like a 20-degree incline, full sweats, and just got on it for about 45 minutes and just walked about 2 miles an hour. When I got off the treadmill, I had lost almost a pound and a half in just 45 minutes from sweating. So I was like, cool, man. I know I can make this. I know I'm doing good. I know that I don't have to stress about the weight. And so I was like, but I still want to lose a little bit more. And I don't know if this is, once again, was a detriment to my performance or not, because I felt great after the little bit of the weight cut that I had. But so I decide I'm going to go do some hot Epsom salt baths upstairs. So I sat in a hot tub with Epsom salt for about 10 minutes, sweated, got out, dried myself off, and then laid on the floor and then let my body naturally cool off through sweat. And I sat there for about 10 minutes and I weighed myself. And after the first one, I went from, I think it was 903 or 903, 209.3 to about 208.7, or I lost about a pound, I think what it was. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to relax for a second. I'm going to take another bath. And so took another bath. After that 10-minute in, 10-minute rest, I weighed myself again. I was at 208.5. I was feeling good. I was still peeing. Might be TMI for you guys, but it's a good sign. My urine wasn't dark. I wasn't dehydrated. I wasn't super thirsty. So I figured my body still had water in it, and I was still hydrated enough to where if I wake up in the morning, I might be able to have a little bit of water if possible. And so I just called it a night. I didn't want to push it. 208.5 was good. I still had the evening to fast in my sleep and everything like that. And so I hadn't by the time I got to weigh-ins, I hadn't eaten in, I don't know, 16, 17 hours, which is a typical fast for me. Like I told you guys before, I do intermittent fasting. So fasting for that long doesn't bother me any. But so Saturday morning, boom, I wake up. And I'm like, oh man, okay, here we go. Here we go. Please, 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 please be on weight. And I wake up, I grab my gi and my belt that I had sitting next to my bed, walk over to the scale, step on it, boom, 206.7. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, thank God. I can drink some water. I can have a little bit of food. I don't want to eat too much because I don't want to bloat or have super bad water retention or anything like that. So I drank about a cup of water, 10 ounces of water in the morning, and I woke up around 6 a.m. because of my kids. And so I just like hung out. I didn't move too much during the day or during the morning, just, chilled. My bracket started around, I think it was 10 a.m. is when they called us. So I left, it was about, the venue was about an hour away, so I had to leave my house around 8 a.m. So I'm sitting there hanging out with the family, and I'm constantly checking my weight to make sure that the water I'm taking isn't going to like magically throw an extra pound on me that I had to worry about before leaving. So I drink some water, relax, eat a little bit, like very, very little. Like I might have like taken a bite of a pancake or something like that. And so I step on the scale, everything's good. 8:30 comes. I'm like, all right, baby, I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna go to the the venue, drive there, end up meeting one of our old classmates there, and he showed me where to go. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to step on the scale here. The one of the test scales, step on the scale, boom, 206.7. And I'm thinking to myself, how am I 206.7? I was 206.7 this morning, and I ate a little bit. I drank some water. I was like, okay, well, that's cool. The scales are kind of light here. So I stopped stressing about that. And this is where my first mistake was, because I've never been in a competition. So cutting weight wasn't the issue. Fasting wasn't an issue. None of that was an issue for me. What the issue was is I didn't know when I officially weighed in. Like, they called my bracket, and we walk over, and I'm like, okay, Travis Motl. They're like, cool, go ahead and step on the scale. I step on the scale. He's like, all right, 206.7, you're good. And I'm like, all right, cool. And I was like, so what do I do now? He's like, oh, just hang out over here or hang out in the line, and then, we'll call you over. And I was like, all right. And I'm talking to one of the other guys, like, yo, was that our official weigh-in, or do we actually have to, like, weigh in again? He's like, oh, no, I think we weigh in one more time before we step on the mats. I was like, oh, man. I had some gummy bears, and I drank some more of my electrolytes, and I was like, crap, dude, I don't want to drink any more of this, because if I have to weigh in again, these 6 gummy bears are going to mess me up. This 3 sips of Element is going to mess me up. I don't want to drink or eat anymore, because I don't want to weigh in again and then get DQ'd at the last minute before I step on the mats. So I don't eat anything. I really don't. I eat like a handful of gummy bears. I take a little bit of hydration with my Element, and I kind of just hang out and start warming up. And I'm like, okay. And I hear our ref, and he's like, or the ring coordinator, and he's like, all right, guys, it's, just a couple more minutes. They're just waiting for another match to finish up, and then we're going to head over there. I was like, all right, cool. I was like, so I'm standing over in the athletes area, getting ready to walk over to where, the mats are. And I'm like looking behind the prompters and everything like that, where the refs and everyone are sitting, and I don't see any scales on the ground. So I'm thinking, wait, so am I going to walk over to these scales that I just stepped on, weigh in again, and then go step on the mat? Are they that strict about like weight cutting that I have to weigh in a second time before I step on the mats? Come to find out, I don't. Come to find out, that was my official weigh-in, and I had no idea. And they don't really tell you it's your official weigh-in. They tell you you're checked in, but no one told me, all right, man, you're good. You can, if you cut weight or anything like that, you could start eating or drinking. Like, I had no idea. So I did this whole competition basically fasting for like 18, 19 hours with like a little bit of gummy bears and Element, right? So I think that was my biggest one, is I fasted way too long, and I didn't know when I was good. I had no idea that I had weighed in. It was the official weigh-in. No idea. If I would have known that, I would have drank some more water. I would have eaten maybe one of my, like half of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich that I had in my gym bag, and then I would have probably had a little bit more energy for my last matches. But so that was my big first mistake, is I didn't know I weighed in, and I should have ate. Also, Elements taste great, and Liquid IV tastes great. I love those things for after workouts, but I should have just drank water also, because when I drink those things and then I exercise, or I drink them during exercise, sometimes they upset my stomach. I don't know if it's like heat or like me, like jiu-jitsu, you get thrown around quite a bit. There's a lot of movement, and I don't know, maybe it like upsets my stomach because it like swishes around in my stomach, but I love those Element and Liquid IV to recover from exercise, but it doesn't really jive with me during exercise. Let me know if it helps you guys at all, or if it's one of those things for you too. But so finally they call us down, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself as I'm warming up, I'm like, all right, breathe in the nose, out through the mouth, breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Never was I like super nervous or scared or anything like that. I was pretty level-headed. And then we get to the mats, and they had, I think they had 3 matches in my bracket before I stepped on. Oh, and by the way, backstory, real quick. I feel like I'm rambling to you guys. Let me know if I'm rambling. This is, I'm trying to recap of everything that happened because I feel like there's a lot of stuff that I went through that was kind of important. But probably the first big eye opener is all of us were hanging out. Everyone in my bracket was hanging out, all the 208 masters. And we were all just BSing before the match, talking about like how old we were, like we all have 401ks. Everyone's like, look, guys, like we're trying to have fun here. Let's not try to kill each other. And everyone kind of agreed. Not like let's not go hard. We all knew it was a competition, but all of us were like, you know, kind of like that mutual understanding of we're just doing this just to compete and have fun and for the experience. No one here is trying to be a world champ. So that was really refreshing. But there were some killers in my bracket. There were. I'll tell you that about that too. But so we walk down to the mats. The three people go in front of me. So obviously I'm watching. I'm trying to see who's in my bracket. I'm trying to see what their game is. I'm trying to understand how they move and everything like that. And trying to see like, okay, so if I win my first match, who am I going to go against in my next match? Because I'm going to take the winner of this match, right? And so I go to my first match, and they're like, "All right, Travis, you're on deck." And I'm thinking to myself, "Holy crap! I'm on deck for my first competition. I'm about to step on the mats, and I'm about to go against someone for the first time that I have never met at full speed in front of a bunch of people. What is going on? You know what I mean?" That's when it finally snapped in. The other guys are walking off the mat. I walk up to the mat and I slip my slippers off. And I walk onto the mat and I realize they didn't tell me to come on the mat. So I step off really quick before anyone notices. So that was pretty funny in my head. I was like, oh crap, hopefully I don't get disqualified for that. But then, the ref calls us on. And the guy that I was going against, I had already been talking to, really nice guy. And it was like the ref's like handshake, handshake, boom, go time. And my game plan for the first match was arm drag to back take, and I kept trying, and it didn't work. It didn't work at all. It was like I'll show you when you guys see the videos. You'll see it didn't work. I tried it a couple times, but live resistance. It's you got to adapt. During my first match, I felt great. People talk about, and they kept warning me about, adrenaline dump, blowing your grips out. And in my head, and I was thinking to myself, if I don't have dominant grips, I'm just gonna let go, like, and back up, disengage, and try to figure something out again. And so I kept trying to grip. He would get dominant grips. I would break grips, try to go for the arm drag to back take or arm drag to single leg or whatever, and it didn't work. And so I was just feeling them out and everything like that. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go for a trip. I'm going to go for my outside trip that I absolutely love, sleeve collar, throw my hip to the side, trip, and then punch the ground, right? If you guys know judo, whatever that trip is called, that's like my go-to. And so I go for the trip, boom, hit it super smooth, man. I was really proud of myself. Hit the guy super smooth with the trip, boom, takedown into side control, 2 points. I was like, woo! All right, now we could do jiu-jitsu. Thank God, now jiu-jitsu time. And so we're rolling, and I'm like, I maintain top control pretty much the entire time. I go for a side control, knee on belly, mount, half guard, and everything just felt real smooth and real nice in that first match. The guy was really nice, afterwards. I won my first match 19-0. And that was a great feeling. I was like, holy crap, I just won my first competitive jiu-jitsu match. Like, that's amazing, man. I couldn't believe it. I wasn't super gassed. I was feeling good still. My grips weren't bad. Like, my hands still today still don't feel bad. And it was an incredible experience, man. I wish I would have had a coach there. My big next mistake was not having a coach. And here's why. Not having a coach, to me, feels like a disadvantage now after competing. we're a small school and we don't have a lot of competitors and we don't have a lot of upper belts. And it was kind of, how do I say this? It sucked like not having someone there cheering for me or kind of helping me out or kind of like telling me what they see. Like at first I didn't think that I would want someone there coaching me or telling me what to do or anything like that, but after after my first match, I was hearing his coach like tell him what to do, and so I was just trying to counter what he was doing. And that was kind of detrimental to me because I was focusing so much on what he was doing instead of what I should have been doing. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I was countering him getting an underhook, but what was I going to do with that? Because his coach was telling him what to do now that that he couldn't get the underhook. So then I was just trying to counter what he was doing. If I had a coach there, I felt like he could have been like, okay, now you have the underhook, focus on this, right? And then I could have been progressing because I went for submissions, but I don't know, it was just different. Like I kind of I wish I would have had someone there coaching me and kind of like telling me from the outside of like, because you get tunnel vision. If you've ever competed, you get tunnel vision. And so I was just thinking like, man, I'm in mount. I'm going to try to get to S mount. And it didn't work. All right. Well, now I'm going to go for a cross collar choke. Okay. That didn't work. But his coach the whole time is telling him how to counter everything I'm doing. But I started to get tunnel vision on what I was doing, and if I had a coach there that could have been like, hey, that's not working, go for this, you look for this, his legs here, he's trying to do this, look out for this. I think it would have been different. But because the only reason I could counter my opponent's moves is because I just didn't have someone coaching me on what I should have been doing. All my guys were getting told what to do, and I was just trying to stop them from doing what they needed to do. And I never really progressed my game for that. So that's what I kind of figured out after my first match. So I won my first match 19-0. I go into my second match, which was two matches later, still feeling great. And I was going up against a guy that really strong, athletic guy, just kind of like me. He looked like he was a little bit bigger than me. But we start off and doing the whole grip fighting and everything like that, and he kind of pulls guard to De La Hiva, tries to sweep me, gets me in his closed guard. I end up breaking his closed guard, and he kind of sweeps me, and in the sweep, I like Granby roll over to Turtle, but we end up at the edge of the mat, and I thought to myself, like, all right, cool, well, he's going to get my back. We're kind of going to go into the referee position in wrestling, and then we're going to start from there. And maybe I'll just sit out or roll or something like that to get to half guard or something like that, something I feel pretty comfortable with. But so we get to the edge of the mat, and the ref's like, stop, whatever he says. And then we go back to the middle of the mat, and he stands us back up. And I look at the guy I'm going against, and I was like, bro, I thought we were about to go back down. He's like, yeah, me too. Now we got to do this again. And I was like, crap, man. So what he does is pulls guard again to De La Hiva, and I should have known it was coming, and I didn't. And he goes for the same sweep again, and I stop him, but he ends up in mount. I don't remember how. I haven't rewatched that match yet, but he ends up in mount somehow, and that's when my exhaustion just hit me, dude. I was just so tired. I was like, holy shit, man. Like, I'm tired. I shrimp to my side, get on side control, try to get in a half guard, and really it was just getting to the point where I was like, I just don't want to get submitted right now. I'm trying to defend. Never once did I feel super threatened during my second match. It was like one of those times when you're in a role and you're just so tired, you're just like, I'm just going to defend everything that he can, and maybe I'll try to gain better position or reverse him or something like that, and just, let him play his game. And that's what I was doing. I wasn't doing that. I was so tired. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was just like laying there, just trying to get to a better position for myself to see if I could do something. So he ends up in mount, and he kind of like starts going for like a cross collar choke from mount. And so I punch him in the armpit, right? Bridge, punch him in the armpit. boom, over into his guard again, and I go to break his guard, and I was thinking, all right, man, if I could get like an ankle or go for an ankle lock or pass his guard or do something going to mount, I was just thinking, like, the only way I knew I was down, and I knew the only way I was going to win this match is if I submitted him, and I took too long, and match was over, boom, lost 9-0. But nothing in my second match I never felt super threatened by him. I never felt anything that I haven't felt before or didn't have an answer for. My body just started getting really tired. And looking back now, I think it's because I didn't know, like I said earlier, I didn't know that I had officially weighed in, so I never really replenished my body. I had did that little bit of the weight cut the night before. I didn't really drink that morning, and then boom, I'm in my second match, and I'm like, I'm freaking dead by the end of my second match. But I felt good because I didn't get submitted, and I felt like I did some good things in there, right? I'm gonna go back and probably do a commentary and post a commentary video on my losses. I don't know about my win because I feel like you learn more in your losses than you do your victories. So I'll probably just rewatch my two last matches and really focus on what I did wrong. And so I lost the second match. That guy goes to the finals for first and second place. I go to the losers bracket for third place. And I go against this guy, John. He's like 6'3", obviously 208, super athletic guy. And he had lost his last one. So we were fighting for third. And we were only one match after I had just got off the mat. And so I was thinking to myself, dude, there's freaking no way right now, man. I need a miracle to happen in order for me to get some energy right here because I am freaking tired, dude. So we get step on the mat, and yeah, it was a complete failure. It was bad. I got submitted. He got me with a straight arm lock in some transition, and nothing he did surprise me either. Nothing I didn't understand. What really surprised me was how much energy he had. He had still had a gas tank, and so he was still going like hard. And I couldn't match, honestly, man. I was like, dude, my biggest disappointment this whole competition is my gas tank. I can make excuses, saying that I have kids, I have a day job, I only get to train 2 times a week, you know, and I'm blessed to be able to train 2 times a week, honestly, maybe 3 times, but it's just like, I feel like I disappointed myself by not having the conditioning I should have to give myself the best opportunity to tell you the truth. I feel like I would have done so much better against any of them. Honestly, I think I could have beat any of them if I was fresh. I mean, and that's hindsight 2020, and that could be, a bunch of BS and everything like that. But I truly believe if I had a better gas tank, my skill and my pressure, my ground or my mount dominance and top game would have honestly secured me victories against any of them if I was fresh or if I had a better gas tank. Because I just I feel good in my game. I felt good in my game when I was even in that second match. Like the first half, I felt good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I broke his guard. He swept me, yeah, but I didn't feel anything that was like, I was like, oh crap, here we go. But once my gas tank was gone, then it was like survival mode. It was like my brain was like, look, bro, you can either try to fight until you pass out, or you can you could live for the next round. So that was my biggest takeaway, was not understanding what was happening around me. In a sense of when the official weigh-in was, not having a coach, not being as conditioned as I should have been, honestly. There's some big takeaways, and it was a great experience. Honestly, everyone that I talked to in my bracket, super nice guys. We're all dads. Well, I think most of us were dads. Um, and they were super nice, down to earth, and I had a lot of fun. I honestly did. Now is competing for me? No, I don't think competing is for me anymore. Like I competed a lot in my 20s in other sports. If you want to call CrossFit, competing in CrossFit a sport. Some of you guys don't, but I also did weightlifting and marathons and 5Ks, and I was a competitive runner for a while in my 20s. And I just, I feel like if I were to do another competition, I would have to take it much more seriously than I did this one. And it's a completely different skill set competing, man. I'm sure a lot of you guys know this if you compete. It is a whole different world. It's a completely different like skill to go in there, have a game plan, understand points, understand, timing and when you should probably turn it up, when you should back off, having an A game, a B game, it's a skill. There's a reason why the highest level competitors continuously compete and do it and are so good at jiu-jitsu because they're honing their craft. And competing in jiu-jitsu is a craft. Jiu-jitsu is a craft. Jiu-jitsu is a skill. Jiu-jitsu is an art. It's a beautiful art, but it is a completely different animal competing. And I enjoyed it. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it. I really did enjoy it. I'm so happy I did it. It's just not for me, and I'm not gonna say I won't do it again. I kind of want to compete again, but this time I want to take it way more seriously and set myself up for more success with cardio, with conditioning, and not fasting and dieting for a day and a half pretty much beforehand. Um, eating the morning of, just set myself up for more success because I feel like I would do immensely better if I did that. Because my first match, I felt phenomenal. Everything was clicking. I was moving. I was grooving. You know what I'm saying? And it was good, man. So if you guys have ever competed before, how many times did it take you to compete before you felt like you understood? You know what I mean? If that makes sense. I'm trying to get it. Like trying to there's just a lot that goes into it. Do you guys compete with coaches? Do you not have a coach there? Have you ever competed with a coach and without a coach? Was it a difference? Do you not like coaching because you rather counter what the other guy was doing like I did for my first match and halfway through my second? I'm going to release the videos so you guys can watch and critique me and tell me how shitty of a blue belt I am and how I should be ashamed of myself. And but I don't know. This was just kind of a recap of what happened and how much fun it was. I definitely don't think competing is for everyone. Not for me. I might do it here and there just to kind of test myself. But I also feel like I can do that by dropping it at other schools. Yeah, it's not the same intensity, it's not the same environment, but you still get to see if your game works on other people that don't know it. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm super happy I won one match. Super happy I didn't get submitted in the second. And and then the third one. So he got me with that straight arm lock in transition. And at first when I tapped, he was like, "Did he tap?" And the ref was like, "Yeah, he tapped." I was like, "Yeah, I tapped for sure, I tapped." And I was thinking to myself, "Man, did I tap a little early on that straight arm lock? Could I have held out a little bit longer and try to get out of it?" No, I tapped at the freaking perfect time because I'm paying for it today, even for tapping when I did. My right elbow is bothering me, bro. It's been bothering me all day. It bothered me right after the adrenaline stopped pumping after that match. I was like, holy crap, I guess that was locked in there way tighter than I thought it was. And so good on him for submitting me. good on him for that arm lock. And I'm glad I tapped when I did, because when your adrenaline's going, you don't always feel a submission with how tight or locked in it is. You may think like, that's not really in there, and then all of a sudden you have something pop. You know what I mean? So at first I thought I tapped too early, but now I'm grateful I tapped when I did, because I could have had my elbow injured much more sore than it is now, and I'm thankful that it's not. So, but that's my first time competing. Let me know if you guys have ever competed down below. Like I said, if you guys want to check out our Facebook page, L Bros, it's going to be down in the description below if you guys want to join. Follow me everywhere, 5-star ratings on iTunes, Spotify, everything like that. If there's anything that you guys can give me pointers on when it comes to competing or getting ready for competing, please let me know. I am all ears. So, but yeah, guys, thank you so much for listening to me ramble about my first competition and how it went. It was a blast. I'm super happy I did it. I wish I would have did it at white belt, because I feel like I was a better practitioner as a white belt, but it was a lot of fun. So thank you guys so much for the support with me doing this. I was in contact with quite a few of you guys talking about, game plans and whatnot. So just thank you guys for that. And yeah, so remember, no oil checks here. Peace.